Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we discussed about the important concept called Hibernate here, the mapping file related information, the core interfaces we discussed here. So today we'll do the continuation of this particular Hibernate example here. And I started the example with the help of the configuration file. So what configuration file we used here? Hibernate.cfg.configuration.file we used here. So in place of this particular configuration file, now what is another important section we can use here? We can create a property file here. So the property file, how we can create it? So something like we can create like this. You can create a file, and the file should be okay. Hibernate.properties. Here we can create a Hibernate.properties. So this is the main file we can create here, and under this particular the property file, what I'm doing is I'm going to add whatever the configuration we added with help of this particular XML. The same configuration I will add here. And if you observe the file I created under the resource directory, whenever we are creating this particular file under the resource directory, the Hibernate will detect the Hibernate.property file automatically, and it will try to use the information what we are going to provide under this particular file, and it will try to create a connection between the database and Hibernate here. Okay, so what are the main file, like the main properties we are going to provide here? Here we are going to provide the main information, something like here. What about the connection related? So let's see here, this is the driver. Okay, so the driver class I'm going to provide now. So once we provide this particular driver class, what we will do, we provide the what is the last name we are having, org.postgres.driver. Now I'm trying to add this property here. This is the one property, and property the name and post case and URL. URL dilate and HBM2 DDL and SQL. So this is we can make as a true. These are the basic file we provided here, and the mapping file we comment. Now what I'm doing is this particular file I'm going to comment. This is the file I'm commented now. So what so something the comment tag. Okay. So here, and here, what I'm doing here, okay. So what we are doing here, we are trying to come to a particular file here. Now in between, we are having some commented piece of code. Okay, instead of commenting, what we can do, so will this particular file we can remove it. Okay, so we'll keep in the notepad here. Okay, so this is information keeping in the notepad. Now we can remove this hibernate.cfg.xml file here. Okay, now I'm removing this particular configuration file here. So what we can understand here, we can understand the important section now. So we remove the configuration file with the XML configuration. Now we are working with the property file here. Okay, here we are having hibernate.properties file. Now go to the same example and here update the message. Remove this particular configuration.conf because we are not working with XML. And here, what is the message we can update here? The message we can update like using hibernate dot using hibernate dot properties file. We are trying to record. Now I'm running the same example here. Just I updated the message and we are running the same example. So we'll see what happens now. So what happens here? We are getting an exception. We'll see what happens basically here. What is an exception we are getting? here what are the properties we provided? Hibernate dot connection dot data source transaction factory URL username and dilate. So dilate everything we provided correct only. Now let's see with the debug option what happens. So what is saying here, let me build the application. Okay, so the build was completed successfully. Okay, so it is an issue with now what is saying here. Okay, message is unable to configure. Keep the add resource as it is because we are trying to work with the Hibernate.property file here. Okay, now here you can see after removing the configuration file like the cfg.xml file, what happening now? So still it is trying to connect to the database and it is inserting the record. So how it is working here? Because of this particular Hibernate.properties file here. Okay, so we can work with the two cases. Either we can work with the property file or we can work with the hibernate.cfg.xml. If I want to show you the newly created record, if I want to show you the newly created record here, what happens here? So now you can see using the hibernate.properties. The 10th record also it is inserted. The 10th record also it is inserted successfully. So earlier, why we are getting an exception? Because of this particular what is that add class. The add class it is giving me an exception. So that is the because of that we are getting an exception. So currently what we are doing is we are trying to add resource and we remove the add class and remaining everything with same. So whatever we used earlier in the previous example, whatever we implemented, same concept we implemented here. Okay, so this is what we need to understand here. Now here another important section what we will do, the other important section basically what we will do once we complete this particular Hibernate.properties here, so we are able to connect it to the database and we are able to process the operation. So now mapping the cfg.xml we discuss here and we discuss about the configuration. Okay, and another important section, so we need to work as a log4j properties. So we need to work as a logging framework. So how we can work with the logging framework here? To understand the logging framework here, basically what exactly the Hibernate is doing internally. If you want to find out the internal implementation, so we can find out with help of this particular logging framework here. To understand this particular logging framework, what we need to do, we need to create a one log4j dot properties here. So once we create this particular log4j dot properties, so it will try to provide the logging information regarding this particular Hibernate. Okay, so what we can do here to provide with the logging framework, so again we need to create the one property file here. Now I'm trying to create a one more file here. The file name, it should be log4j dot properties. So this is very important here, log4j dot properties. Okay, log4j dot properties. Under the log4j dot properties here, now what we will do, we'll try to add a different type of appenders here. So first what we will do, we'll try to work with the console appender, and later we'll try to work with the file appender. So what exactly the console appender will do, it will try to print the messages on the console. When we're trying to work with the file appender, it will try to print the logging message under the one of the file, whatever the file we are going to specify here. Okay, now here, to understand this, what we can do here, to understand this particular log4j dot properties here, we need to provide the console appender first here. Okay, now here you can see log log4j dot appender dot systout. Now what we will do here, we'll try to work with the OG. Here we are trying to Apache, org Apache. After that, what I'm doing here we are having 4 dot console appender. Okay, console appender. So this is the appender class we need to provide. Then only the messages are going to be printed on the console. Once you provide this particular console appender, what is the next step we are going to do now? Here we are going to do the important section called target here. Here we are going to do the target log4j dot appender log4j dot appender dot what we will do, sysout. Okay, so target basically system dot out here, and here what we will do, we need a pattern here, like how we are trying to print the messages in the which format here. The format we are going to provide so something like this. In place of the target here, we'll try to find out the layout. So this is the layout we need to provide here. So what is the layout we are going to provide? org dot apache dot log4j dot, and here we are going to have the pattern called pattern layout. Pattern layout. Okay, and here the another important section. So we need to provide the conversion pattern here. How we are going to provide the conversion pattern here? Here we are going to provide the okay. So we'll provide the conversion pattern here. The conversion pattern, I'm going to provide the So it should be the this is the pattern. It's going to be print something like absolute here. After the absolute, now I'm going to provide the so percentage 5p percentage c minutes and seconds here. So now here this L should be capital L. So this is the message we are going to add here. Now here we need to provide the routing related information. So the route related information we need to provide log4j dot root logger. The root logger warning WRN1 and sysout. So these two we need to provide so that it will try to print as a warning related method and the system related, the print related method, whatever we are having. So those are going to be printed here. And after that, what I'm doing here, so I'm trying to print to the log4j. Log4j dot logger dot log4j dot logger dot net. Okay, now here what I'm doing here, log4j dot logger dot net and sf dot net dot sf dot what we will do, hibernate. And here info, for this particular hibernate we are trying to providing as a information. Okay, now we'll run the example now. So see the different type of log messages we are going to be get now. Different type of log messages we are going to be get here. Okay, for this particular information, so much of the logs we are not able to see here. Now some record it is going to be inserted. So 11th record is inserted or not. Now you can see the 11th record also it is inserted. For the 12th record, now what I will do, I will update the message. I will update the message something like using log4j dot properties. Log4j dot properties, and under the log4j dot properties, instead of providing info, I will provide as a debug. Instead of providing as a info, I'm trying to provide as a debug here. And so along with this particular debug, one more important section we can provide here, Hibernate type here. Okay, so one more property I'm trying to add, Hibernate dot type here. So this is also I'm trying to keep as a debug. Now let me run the same example. Okay, so the in related message we are getting, but we are getting debug related messages here. Debug related message we are expecting, but so those messages are not printing as of now. Let's see anything we are missing. log4j. The name of the file, it should be log4j.properties here. properties. Okay, the name of the file, it's correct. Under the resource we created log4j.properties file. Okay. Okay. So something like the logging related commons login jar, it is available or not, we need to check here. Let me go to the external libraries. Let's see the common logging is available. So here, this is a JBoss logging we are having, but what we are expecting here, it should be available as a common logging. Once the common logging is available, now we'll get the printing messages here. Okay, let me take the help from the Google. So what is the proper jar missing here? Here, what we can provide here, Hibernate with log4j. What is the dependency we need here? So here we need to specify the org Apache login, log4j API. Okay. So these are the two dependencies we need to specify here. Log4j two properties we are adding. Now go to the, okay, it is a Gradle. So we are working with the Gradle here. We need a Gradle properties. Maven repository. Okay. So under the Maven repository, what we are adding? Log4j API. Okay. Log4j API. This is the one we can take here. And this is the Gradle. Okay. Now let me build this. We added the log4j related properties in the dependency. Now once we add, it should be build this one. Okay, it's time to build this. So once the build is completed, we'll try to rerun the same application one more time. So why this is taking this much time? The Gradle project is taking much time to import the project here. Okay, so we need to wait. Once this particular build is completed, we'll try to run the application here. So still you can see it's trying to build the dependencies information here. Okay. Now this is the build was completed successfully. What we can do before going to start this example, okay, directly also we can run this one. Stop and do rerun this one. Okay, so he's expecting 4J log4j core is expecting to add in the as password. Whatever what we added basically here, log4 API we added. Okay. Uh, Let me replace with core here. Now I'm trying to adding the log4j core also. We'll see the records are setting. So now you can see the 12 and 13 both records are inserted with help of the log4j.property. But the logging messages are not getting because of this particular log4 related dependencies are not available here. Okay, what we are doing here, we are trying to provide a log4j.property file here. The particular property file will give you the internal implementation of this particular Hibernate. Okay, so now go to the Hibernate.me, run the same example. Okay, why the logging frameworks are not implemented here? Let me start with the debug here. Okay, the log4j, anything we are missing under log4j properties, so it is unable to print the logging message here. Org Apache log4j finder we provided here. Log4j console appender and pattern layout, and we provided the definition. So let's review here. Is there anything we are missing here? So as we know, like we added dependencies here. Log4j.xml we are adding. Okay, instead of adding the XML, here you can see the console. What we are doing is target system.out here. The pattern layout, Abinat level info. Okay, let me copy this particular part here. This is a this is the particular patterns we are providing here. Appendix, console, level info, root log or appendix, a std file where we are having file, app.log, pattern layout, and file level of message we are providing, debug. Okay, let me run the same example. No, the login messages are not printing here. So something we are missing. Type name std out, file name, file Hibernate level is debug. Let me paste the debug here. No. Okay. So we are not getting the log4j information. Okay. So let me review the previous example. What we have, like how we configure this log4j here. Okay. So it should run the same example. Let me review. Vendors. Okay. What we are missing? We added these two, configure resource log4j.xml. It should print the message here. Okay, so nothing is there to add additionally. For J dot property. Okay, we'll keep on check. We'll check the log4j property file here. Okay, what we are having here, log4j dot root, the root logger we are having error and sys out, console appender. Okay, this is we can keep log4j. We need to work as a file only. Sorry, the console only. Let's review. Internal log4j here org dot hibernate we need to provide. And here we should provide the debug. No, log4j dot property. Let me refactor, like rename the file, refactor, rename. So it is the same only. Okay, it is not recognizing the log4j by default here. Okay, what we can do, remove the API. Sysout console appender pattern layout, and this is the pattern root level error and Hibernate debug. Okay, okay. Let me check the Hibernate dot One more example, is there anything we are missing? What we are missing? Can you add a system property to Hibernate use SLF? Okay. Okay. So let me add SLF4J also here. Oh, it is a test implementation, but we need a original implementation. Okay. Yeah, I will review this one. Log4j, it is not working. Maybe something we are missing here that I need to check here. And I will update you in the tomorrow session. So why this particular log4j, it is not working here. Hibernate dot property file is working, but log4j, whatever we are adding here, it is not working here. So I need to review the some of the example what we are missing here. So mostly we don't have anything to miss here. The file is not recognizing successfully because the main issue we are having here. I will review and I will update you in the tomorrow session. So what we are missing here. Okay. So the next will be discussed for here. Once we identify the property file, we'll review the creating the multiple classes. Like here, we are going to have a association, one-to-one association, one-to-many. These are the different type of association we are going to be working. Okay. So tomorrow we'll focus more about the association part once complete the log4j related configuration. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow.